I'm Caitlin.
And this is the
Penfriends podcast. Cool.
That was cute.
Yeah.
I had 2 costume parades on Saturday.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And that was a lot, and I never want to do that again. But I'm glad they're both over with, because one was supposed to be scheduled for Wednesday before Thursday, which, yep, that's how the days of the week work. But it was Thursday, which is my birthday, which is the first dress rehearsal, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And I did not want to do a fucking costume parade right before first dress rehearsal. I wouldn't have been able to get anything done. You know what I mean? So I'm glad we moved it. Hold on, now I need to fact check my planner. Oh, fuck.
Did you color your hair?
No, I'm probably sitting in a light that, like, looks... No, I didn't color it. I'm just kind of, like, shaded right now. Like, it looks darker, I guess. I don't know. Does it look darker or lighter?
Darker.
Yeah, no, it's the light isn't hitting, and the backlight is...
Is that your cabin?
Oh, yes, I'm in my dorm room this time. My roommate is not home.
Cool.
And so, it's the size of a matchbox, and we make it work, basically. So, but yeah, you've been doing well. Has it been over 2 weeks? Did we miss a week?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we were gonna podcast about SantaCon.
Oh, we were
like, is it recording week? And I'm like, girl, where have you been? The Twilight Zone?
Honestly,
but
I
didn't want to disturb you because I know that you're like super busy. So I'm like, she'll figure it out eventually. When
you
she
could
comes
tell
back
me
up for air.
You could have told me, like, hey, we're supposed to record this week, and I would have fucking figured it out. Like, but
I was busy too.
You can fact check me too. But honestly, you're right. Like, the weeks have been blending together for me. I just don't know what day of the week it is, and because my week is Tuesday through Saturday, and so I get really confused. Like, oh, like everything's gonna be. I don't know what I can't give a fucking example. Anytime I start the week on Tuesday, I think it's really Monday, and so it just like weird. It freaks me out, and I don't have any concept of time. But that's okay because time isn't real.
Yeah. No, it is.
So
not real.
So yeah, we were going to talk more about TanaCon, but that's kind of been over and done with. Although FouseyCon happened, FouseyTube came out, did his thing. Can you believe he planned it in 7 days? Yeah, I can, because it still fucking sucked. It was bad. These YouTubers need to stop doing this. The only YouTuber con besides VidCon that I will accept is Jesse Cox Con, which is they're a whole bunch of video game people. Well, Jesse Cox is a video game person. He's friends with the Grumps, I believe. Yeah, no, he did, because he helped produce and write their YouTube Red series, I believe. And so, yeah, he was in it. I actually need to watch that still. I haven't watched it yet, but...
I don't have YouTube Red.
I know, I would need to wait. Oh, actually, now that the BTS documentary is all on there, I'll just do, like, the 30-day trial and just watch it all at once and then cancel it again. Yeah, no, so, speaking of BTS, I found that there's, like, some, like, futuristic cyberpunk, visual novel game that's BTS based, and there's only a demo out right now, but they're, like, accepting patrons to, like, help them spread the word and, like, to donate, like, to help support them in, like, developing the rest of the game, and I'm like, damn, these artists are good, but, like, everyone has, like, weird tattoos and piercings, and, like, they use these people's faces, but they're obviously not called RM, Suga, J-Hope, you know, it's like their faces, and they keep saying that, like, the concepts of their albums come through, and I'm like, they don't even have a futuristic, like, weird concept like that, but anyway.
That's weird.
But it looked really funny. I sent it to my friend here who likes BTS too, and we were like, we should play the demo together, so we might do that. So I'll give you a review. of the demo if we ever play it.
please do.
No, tell me about you. I miss you, and I want to hear everything about you.
There's not really that much going on.
Well, you said you saw Fun Home.
Yeah, I saw Fun Home, and it was so good.
Yeah.
It was so freaking good.
I bet.
And I'm reading the book right now.
Mm-hmm.
I was like halfway through it when we went to go see Fun Home, and I got like so excited because we were there not long before the doors opened, and so there's like a bunch of older-ish people like waiting by the doors, and then like as soon as the doors open, which were opened by like a young girl, I was like, okay, let's go in. Nope, all those people were the ushers. So we like rushed in, not like rushed, but like rushed.
Yeah.
And before the ushers, and I was like, oh, oops, sorry. I also know my way around the theater, so it's kind of okay.
Right.
And I was like, wow, that's so embarrassing.
Yeah, but because we saw a little bit of the performance when we went to Pride, very fitting show to showcase at Pride, in Grand Rapids, and she sounded great. Like the people who sang sounded amazing. I'm sure everyone else in the cast was great. And,
yeah, it was really good.
Yeah.
The lady who played like the older version of Allison is not actually like in theater. She's a comedian.
Oh, okay.
And like in Grand Rapids, but her fiance, they like met at one of the community theaters.
Oh.
So like she's kind of in the loop, but not really. So I feel like I could kind of tell that they were like worked with her on her singing and like tried doing different things, but other than that, like the other, and it's just because like she's the only one who's not like, yeah, and so I was like, oh, but I'm also really glad that like she played Allison.
Yeah.
So,
no, but good for her. I mean, like that's so tough. Like with the reputation that Fun Home has, it's not I said reputation, like it's a good reputation. Like it's a great show and has got a lot of following, and with its representation, it's an important show. And with the story along with it, it's good for her for stepping out of her comfort zone and doing that. Yeah. We at Interlochen, they have the musical theater staff have a miscast night where you get to perform things that you never would be able to perform, like some guy singing like Memories from Cats. Like he would never be cast playing like the old cat lady from Cats.
So cute.
So I was like, oh, should I do something? And then I thought it would be funny because I'm a costumer if I attempted to build a flat on stage, like to build something from the scene shop, but that's not the mood they're going for. So it's like performance only. So I was like, well, I could do a monologue. I only know one Shakespeare monologue, but I probably won't do it. I want to see it. It's supposed to happen this weekend, so hopefully I can.
That's cute.
I think it's really adorable. I think it's mostly for like the teachers and the people who direct and like actually can do those things, but yeah, I just wanted to build. Everyone liked my joke though, so that's the only thing I wanted. Build a flat on stage. But speaking of music and that, I had a conversation, or like people around me, my friends, and this dialect coach, acting teacher who is here. We had a conversation at lunch that just piqued my interest, and I wanted to like bring it up. And can you tell that we never have like anything planned because we literally
always.
That's the nature of the show. But at lunch, this dialect coach, because she's helping with Brigadoon, because Scottish accents and dialects, and she was talking about, I don't even know how to phrase this. Well, I'll phrase it the way she did. She said basically it was a disservice for Bachelor Fine Art musical theater students to focus in so heavily on musical theater. And her reasonings for that is Theaters, regional theaters that are anywhere besides Broadway can't afford to do big musicals anymore with huge
And,
choruses.
in the grand scheme of things, realistically, you're not just going to be doing musicals.
Right,
Even
exactly.
when you're doing musicals, it's more than just the musical. You have you have lines, you have, all of that, and I feel especially at CMU, it was very focused on, just the singing, which, of course, is important.
Yeah.
That's, the basis,
Yeah.
but...
And the dancing.
It's not everything. And the dancing,
And
yeah.
it was, a very classically trained program for when you're, all of our friends were taking tap, Wyatt was taking so many singing lessons,
And that, also had to do with the style of the school, too. The professors preferred, more classical training.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that was often, frustrating because there's not a lot of big places there doing the classical shows. That's more, I feel more community theaters and off places are doing classical shows, because that's not going to sell on Broadway sometimes, but not always. It's all the contemporary and new shows that are coming out that are on Broadway. So
yeah, no, I agree. I mean, the great thing about Golden Age theater, older style theater, is that you have that chorus, and you can put as many people in the chorus as you want, and maybe they are only in one or two scenes, but you know who's going to come? Their great aunt from out of town, their cousin from out of state. You're going to fill seats at a community theater and sell out those shows because they're classic. You can, I mean, that's exactly why my theater does so many. I was in Oklahoma, and I was, Lori's friend number 12, and I costumed Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, and we had so many people in that cast, and we were selling out shows. Those are classic shows for community theaters to do, and they're great to do because older communities will come and see them, and that's your target audience, really, for community theaters when you're doing full shows. But regional theaters can only afford to do one musical, and the musicals they're doing are smaller casts. They're doing Next to Normal. They're doing, I don't know, I can't think of another small cast musical.
Fun Home is a very small cast.
Yeah.
5, 6 people. One person plays multiple roles, and then 2 small children, 3 small children.
Yeah.
Depending on how young you want to go with young Allison.
Yeah. And I think it's... And I agreed with her that it's a disservice. And I mean, yes, everyone has to take credits in the technical theater. Yeah, so at least at our university, people had to take 1 credit or 2 credits of
but that was the biggest thing that they complained about. They didn't want to take
exactly
that a lot of the time. And so that was annoying.
It was, and it wasn't I'm sure for some of them it was a disrespect thing for backstage people and technical theater people, but most of the time it was just I want to be focusing on stuff that I'm going to actually be doing in the real life. And I'm sweaty, you're going to need to know some of this backstage stuff because that's what you're going to be more hireable. They always told me you are going to be more hireable.
And also it's just good to know so that
you're not an asshole.
Yeah, and it just makes you more aware of what's going on backstage. So that you're not an asshole, so that you don't think that everything revolves around you.
Yeah.
And that you are the star of everything.
Yeah.
You might be trying to walk out, but I'm having a quick change right here, so you can't be standing here. And it's just good to know how things work, so that basically.
I think if you're going to love theater as much as some musical theater kids do, you need to love all of it. you can't just love one member of BTS. You can't be that bitch. You have to love all the members. You have to love all parts of the theater. You can't say, like, oh, I just love theater and Broadway so much. I'm like, do you know what IATSE is? Do you know about all the different technical theater? What about your stage manager? Do you even know their last name? Like, all of it, like, it's just it's a respect thing, but it's also, it's just, like, good
But
to
it's a
know.
respect for your craft.
Yeah, it's a respect for the craft.
too.
Absolutely. Like, my kids for Brigadoon, for the costume parade, they stood there and were very patient for 2 hours. 2 hour long costume parade. It was the longest fucking parade I ever had. And, but afterwards I saw them, I got ice cream, and they were all also getting ice cream, and they came up to me and, like, talked to me, and they're like, we're so happy, everything looks so good, thank you so much for all your work. And I'm like, I'm sorry I made you all stand there for, like, 2 hours straight, like, I'm real sorry, you got to sit sometimes, but it's a long process with bigger casts, and yeah, bigger cast just is bigger, more money, like, you know, it just, so anyway, so we were talking about this with this dialect coach that I will see in rehearsal sometimes, and she was like, yeah, I just think, specifically the word, it's a disservice, and I wholeheartedly agree, because there were professors who were stuck in their classical mindset, thinking that theater today is like how they were, you know, when they were out in the world doing theater, and it's not the same environment as it is today. Absolutely not for anyone. You know, I think I'm sure when my advisors and old designers, they didn't need an MFA to go and get these jobs that I need to now have to get the same job. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's art, and the art field is changing all the fucking time, and it is a disservice to these young kids who have a dream of, you know, getting on a train, going to New York, and finding their way. None of our friends who live in New York have full-time theater jobs. They haven't been on Broadway yet. They just keep going to I don't even know if any of them are like actively auditioning. I'm sure they are. I know a few of them have done small tours around the country, but that's great.
Like,
but
Tiana, for God's sake, auditioned for a freaking YouTube series, and I'm like, ooh, which one?
Yeah.
But I didn't ask her. And I'm like, ooh, what's the scoop?
Like, it's hard out there. It's hard when you don't have an agent, when you don't have any sort of management. It's tough when you're not unionized, because the equity actors have a really strict contract, and they are able to get these certain jobs and are able to work more, but you need to get equity points to even join that. Like, how do we even fucking do that? Like, I think the environment that college theater is now is that just, like, it's, I don't know.
And I felt that too a lot, because I remember, like, when I was at CMU, and I would talk about, like, I talked about my community theater a lot, and I feel like a lot of the people we went to school with, like, kind of scoffed at it. And I'm like, I never, like, really understood why. And it didn't, like, it was kind of offensive, but kind of not, because then, like, when I would talk to other professors, they were like, oh, that theater, though, is, like, semi-professional. Like, if you could choose a community theater, like, you're in a great place for it. And so then that's what I would, like, try to say and stuff, and everyone was just like, whatever. Like, I'm going to Chicago or New York or LA. And I'm like, well, good luck.
That's exactly.
There's other, like, things that you could be doing, but you don't want to.
That is literally.
And I understand, like, not wanting to settle. Like, nobody should have to settle. But I feel like it's, like, worth to just not have your mind open to those possibilities and opportunities, because you are doing musical theater, and so you're going to make it big. And it's like, okay, honey, you and 1,000, 100,000 other people.
This is literally the conversation Gabby and I have all the time, because Gabby chose to stay and work in Detroit, and she had an internship for a year, and they hired her. She is now working there full time in Detroit, and people are like, why are you in the Detroit area? Why don't you just move? She's like, I don't see any of you working full-time in these big-ass cities.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I am so thankful for her. Also, shout out to Gabby. I don't know if you listen to this. But I
haven't talked to Gabby in so long, and I need to. I should just text her.
We will all meet up, because that's the gig I got next spring, because she got in the door of these Detroit theaters. I'm costume designing a show at the theater she's working at because she threw my name out to her boss.
Aww.
Yes, and so, like, and it was kind of funny because she was like, what did Gabby say? Oh, she said, he knows I don't talk highly about anyone, and I talked really highly of you, so that, like, is a really good recommendation. I was like, thanks, Gabby. And so I'm doing the show next spring at that theater, and that's going to be my foot in the door. And hell, if I could be in Detroit theaters and...
What if they hire you?
Right, exactly. Like, what if
it's not the worst thing in the world. And, like, freaking Colton is, like, the technical director at a high school.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, theater. And it's like, you have to think about, like, what is... And then I just, like, hate the people who are, like, not working everything, but they, like, look down on the people who are working full-time, just not in that, or maybe in that field, but maybe not in that field. And they're like, well, why are you doing that? It's like, well, what are you doing?
Yeah, exactly. It's so hypocritical sometimes. Like, it's just, yeah. But, we were also talking about how much of a disservice it was that theater students also don't take business classes or marketing classes, because you are marketing you're marketing yourself.
Yes.
And if you, most of the time, these people, a lot of young theater students, and will just start their own company.
Not even like one class that has to do, like, even if it's not like in the business, whatever. Like, why is there not just like one theater class that talks about? I feel like there was. Just
like the business of theater. I have no idea.
Yeah.
Maybe in like theater appreciation, but like.
No,
I don't remember. I don't remember anyone ever taking a theater business class.
There was one. It wasn't like a business, but like they learned. Maybe it was in capstone. So if you took the capstone class or something, then they like taught you how to make a resume.
Yeah.
Oh, there was a
you're
class
right.
or something. They like taught. I remember like people making resumes and like talking about how to go out and market themselves.
Like audition and things. Yes, because I remember.
Yeah. Audition techniques. That's what it was.
Wait, what was it called?
Audition techniques. That was the class.
Yeah, no, it might have been audition techniques, but I remember specifically like Leslie and Girding taking, or no, maybe it was just Leslie, but they took a capstone class and it was taught by Keely, and Keely was focusing not because she didn't want.
Girding took it too.
Yeah,
I specifically remember. Yeah.
But I remember Keely like sending them over during class time to talk to like Anne or Dan or Stan about marketing and doing that stuff and getting your name out there technically, because she didn't know. Like, and she's like, I'm sorry, like they were never in class basically because Keely really only focused and knew, and it wasn't to her fault. She just, that's not her field, and she had these 2 tech students in her class, so she sent them over to talk and like work with our tech people, our tech professors. And so anyway, God, I hear horrible things now about CMU. Like, Gabby tells me these stories about what's been going on down there, and I'm like, well, I'm glad I got out when I did.
I want to know.
Oh, I'll tell you what. Well, it's just like, it's just been going like downhill, and it's just really disappointing because, like, you know, despite the things that I have to say about that program and like what happened to me there and all this stuff, it's like it's still my program, and people I know are still there, and like it has the capacity to thrive. It does, but too much change needs to happen for it to actually get to that point, and I don't think it's not going to. Not in this century. Not in this generation of people. So
yeah.
But Dr. Connor's retired, and
and Jill.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Jill retired too. Yeah, but CMU Theater, Whitehall is going through like this huge renovation of their theater. So they did an extended run of shows at CMU, but they only went to Beaver Island this year for their summer.
Yeah, you were telling me about that.
Yeah, so I actually met someone who knew Whitehall, and she was like, "Oh, you're from CMU? They come and perform." And I was like, "Yeah, you probably saw the company I was a part of one year." I don't think she saw it. I asked her, I was like, "Which plays did you see?" And she was like some Shakespeare shortened. And I was like, "Oh, that was a long time ago."
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think she saw the
moly.
complete history of Shakespeare, and that was my freshman year. That was the very first show I saw. So, yeah. She's adorable. That kid's adorable. She's very gullible. I get to play my tricks on her.
Aww.
So when I'm not the most gullible person in the room, I take advantage of it. And you better believe I'm taking advantage of everything I can because it's my birthday week.
Oh my god.
Leo is in high strides today.
Oh my gosh.
But we oh shit. I don't have any fun news today, so I can go.
Oh man.
But you
No
do.
news?
You do. So I'll do it for you. Okay? Are you ready?
What's my news?
The main topic. We're transitioning.
Oh, okay.
All right. So
I
what's the
get it.
title of your segment? We gotta plan this out.
I don't have a title. The clickbaity title that
Yeah. What's the clickbait title?
JC from Big Brother
Yeah.
drops the N-word. Bailey claps back.
Yeah.
No. That's not what happened. I'm heated.
All right. So if you know anything about Becca and Josh, and their relationship, it is 100% centered around their love for Big Brother. They have nothing else in common.
Oh, yeah.
They have nothing else holding together their love except for Big Brother. I'm just kidding.
That's the truth, though.
But they love Big Brother so much, and when I lived with Becca and Josh, we were watching old seasons of Big Brother, and I was
That's so good. I had to catch you up on the tea.
Yeah, no, I was very intrigued. I really liked it. We saw the season was with Frankie Grande, right? And now he's like some YouTube bullshit, whatever.
He was on YouTube before. That's
was
what he came in as. Like, he didn't come in as
Ariana
Ariana's brother. He came in as like a YouTuber.
Right. Is that the season where the undercover cop won?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that was my favorite season.
That's so good.
That was a good season.
There
And then
was an undercover cop this season, but he was older.
Oh.
And he was the first one to go home.
Oh.
So I'm like, oh man.
We watched the season that happened that year because you were like, the girl who came back after being and she won. Yeah, I remember that.
Nicole.
Nicole. Yeah, I remember that too.
I love her. There's a girl this season, her name is Haley, and she reminds me of Nicole a lot. And I'm like,
So, Becca texted me last night and was like, we have to talk about Big Brother. And I was like, all right, I'm not watching yet, right? Like, when I go home, I'll try to watch it, but maybe I'll put it on tonight. I'm not fucking doing anything. Maybe I'll just binge watch Big Brother.
You should. Just start with yesterday's episode, and it'll be fine. Because it's just like, I think it's just like finding out who the new HOH is and like nominations. But the big chunk of the episode was what we're going to talk about.
Yeah, so
like, you're not missing anything like too crazy. And then you can go back and start from the beginning. But, like, I need you to see this. Okay, so it's going to be so hard to describe because it was, like, a TV show. And I think that I'm, like, more irritated that I tried so hard to find a clip for you to watch. Like, I even searched it, like, today. I searched it not that long ago. And I'm like, okay, maybe, like, it's been a day. It was like a highly, a really big deal last night.
Yeah.
I feel like, so maybe someone will have uploaded the full freaking clip and not a completely out of context clip. Nope, that's whatever. So there, obviously, like every season of Big Brother has a bunch of different people. And this season, there's this guy, his name is JC. And he's like an immigrant from I don't know where. I want to say Mexico, but it's not Mexico.
Okay.
I don't know. Anyway, and he's very short, like very short, like 5 foot. And so then there was this other girl who happens to be African American, and that plays a big part in this, who was sitting and talking to him, and then was like asking questions about him being short. But the way she was saying short, it was like she was trying to say something else. Like just the whole way she was saying it, and I'm like, why is she saying short like that? That is so weird. And I think he kind of thought it was weird too, so he was like, are you trying to say dwarf? And she's like,
Right.
oh, well, yeah. And I'm like, okay, first of all, just because you're short, like,
Doesn't
and
mean.
so then he was like, well, I'm not a dwarf, like, that's a condition. And he was like, I'm just short. Like, I went to geneticists and everything, and nope, I'm just short. Like, that's all there is to it. And he's gay, too. So he's an immigrant, he's gay, and he's, like, extremely petite. And so then they were talking, and the girl, Bailey, basically asked, like, so what's the difference between a dwarf and I don't know if I can say it. It's not like...
I think in the context you can say, like, don't say the other word that is referred, because
No,
we're white.
yeah, I won't say
I
that.
think you can say
Yeah.
midget in this scenario because it's
in
important.
context, because context is important.
Yes.
And that's what, like, the whole conversation was about. So Bailey was like, well, what's the difference between a dwarf and a midget?
Yeah.
And JC was like, well, that is just a very derogatory term for a dwarf, the same way for, you know, like, faggot and gay. Like, that's a derogatory term. And then he's like, or black person and N-word. But he said it.
Yeah.
And immediately, like, without, like, missing a beat, Bailey's like, you can't say that. Don't ever say it again. Don't let that come out of your mouth. And then JC's like, I'm sorry. Like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to offend you. I'm just, like, trying to make my point is, you know, like, midget is just as offensive to some as the N-word is to some black people. And then she, like, wouldn't let it go. Like, she would not let it go. She, like, freaked out, and JC remained, like, super calm. And he was just like, I'm really not trying to say anything, but I think that, you know, I proved my point.
Yeah, absolutely.
And she was like, no, you didn't, basically, and just, like, got super heated about it. And then she, like, stormed out of the room and everything. And JC, like, kind of sat there, and then he went to talk to, like, other people. And when he referred to the conversation, he said N-word, not the word. And so people online are like, he knew what he said was wrong. And I'm like, well, yeah, he knew what he was saying was wrong, just like a lot of people don't say faggot anymore. And you know what I mean? Or, like, they kind of tiptoe around it. Like, I don't know if it's okay to say that, but I feel like it's so universal. Like, we don't say the N-word. It might be okay to say faggot, but, like, nobody really knows about midget. So it's, like, 3 different stages of these slurs.
Yeah. Or another
like,
word related to LGBT plus is queer. A lot of people don't like being referred to as queer, while some see it as reclaiming the word, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
As opposed to, I mean,
So,
one summer, my friend wanted to put happy birthday faggot as a joke on my birthday cake. Completely a joke. Like, she had called me that before, and it's like, not as a mean thing, but our costume shop manager wouldn't let her, so I just got happy birthday Caitlin on my cake. Anyway, but no, it's interesting to me that he, like, said it in front of her and then didn't say the actual word in front of these other people, but he probably was just like...
Well, he didn't say any of the words.
Yeah.
And, like, he referred to it as, and the, like, wait, because then she got upset. She's like, okay, well, I was just asking a question. And he was like, and I was answering your question. Like, I'm not dancing around the topic.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to answer you because I'm trying to educate you on this. And she, like, would not let it go. But it became less about, like, the context of the situation and more the fact that he said that word only.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, like, which I understand. I do understand. So then he, like, went and talked to her, like, one-on-one again. And it was just, like, so sad because, like, he's an immigrant. He's gay. And, like, he's short. And so it was, like, a little frustrating. But I did get the feeling that Bailey was very much trying to, like, isolate herself or trying to be, like, you don't know how much, like, I suffered growing up and everything. And he's like, I did too. Like, I did too. I understand probably better than anyone else in this house. And, like, we've both been hurt by words and everything. And I feel like he was being very calm and, like, very adult, very respectful about it. But at the end, and he, like, didn't push it too much. Like, he just kept, like, he stood, like, very to his story. Not his story, but, like, very much just trying to be, like, you know, whatever. And she continued to, in my opinion anyway, like, blow up way out of proportion, take it completely, like, out of context, and then move the conversation more about, like, that word. When I feel like JC could have as easily tried to pull the conversation back to, like, well, my words are offensive too. And I didn't, you know, shut your question down just because you said a slur. You know what I mean?
It's like, we've talked about how you weirdly like iDubbbz but not H3H3, which I find hilarious. But you've seen H-Dubbbz, you know who I'm talking about. iDubbbz' video about the N-word, and he's like, I mean, he's very much an advocate about not giving any of these words power, because it's either all of them have this same power as the N-word, or none of them, including the N-word. I mean, it's such a... And I'm like,
I feel like the only reason that... and you'll see, like, when you watch the episode, the only reason that, like, Bailey... where was I going with this? And that's kind of what I feel like JC was, like, getting at, like, because he was like, I would never just say it. Like, I'm saying it in the context of this conversation, like, answering your question, like, in the context of this.
Yeah.
And and I haven't watched any of the clips on YouTube, but I think that made me upset too, was, like, literally then all of the stuff that I was seeing, like, on YouTube and online was, like, Big Brother star JC says the N-word, Bailey shuts him down. And it's, like, a 40-second clip, probably just of JC saying it.
Yeah.
And Bailey saying, don't ever say that again. And it's like, you literally are doing the same thing that she was doing by taking the whole thing out of context of the entire situation. And I feel like that's because people don't think of midget as a slur. And so that goes to, like, what iDubbbz is saying, is, like, if people are offended by it, like, don't say it. And I feel like JC did it in a really respectable way. And Bailey let her emotions kind of take charge, which is understandable, because then she was like at the end they hugged and everything, but you can tell that she was still, like, heated about it, because she was, like, telling him, like, well, you're wrong in this situation. And he's like, okay, I'm not trying to be, like, right or wrong. And she's like, well, you can't always be right. And I'm like, what is happening right now? But JC, like, it's really good. You'll see. Like, he controls his emotions so well. I don't think he gets too heated. And, of course, that could be just how they edited it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I would love to have seen, like, the live feed when it was really going down.
Honestly, they should.
And then later on, there's, like, I don't know, maybe we should just talk about this season in general. Like, this is, like, the third scandal that there's been.
Already?
Yeah. And it's like a month in. But like earlier, they, I don't know, like week 1 or 2, it's, yeah, 1 or 2. Julie was interviewed because they decided not to air like some of the footage, but it was on the live feeds of like 2 of the white girls sunbathing in the backyard, and they were like, "Oh man, I'm gonna have to stop like tanning so much. I'm starting to look ghetto."
Also a
And of
slur.
course, like, yeah, but also like, what are you implying?
Yeah.
So.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
So that was like a big thing, and then I guess there was like something else that happened, but I'm not sure what else happened. But then this in this same episode, at like the nomination, the girl who's HOH, like I love her so much. I really hope that she wins, but I don't think she's gonna. And this is like the first season in a few years where people are actually playing the game, which I'm like, freaking finally. So this girl, her name is Sam, and she lives like in the mountains. Like she lives in a very remote area. Like she's fine being by herself. She's not like, she's a fan of Big Brother, but like she doesn't get it really. But she's like a younger girl. Like she doesn't get like the social aspect of it. And then like the first week she got a punishment because this is the 20th season, so it's talking about how like we're in a more technological age, so everything is like has to do with computers and technology and everything. So she got a punishment where when they'd say like the BB, I don't know, computer or something is online, she would have to be in the diary room, and then there was like a computer, like robot,
Oh.
like that she like controlled to like move around the house, but it like didn't have her face or anything. It was like just a computer screen, but she could see and hear like everything. And she was like, week 1, like this is where everyone is forming bonds, and it was like crazy. So I was afraid she was gonna go home, but she didn't. And so now she's like HOH, and this was the first week that we saw someone being like, "Who wants to see my HOH room?" which is usually like a really big deal. And when they were all up there, she like sat them down and was like, "So this is how it's gonna go. I'm the HOH. No one is allowed in my room unless I let you in my room. There's going to be no like one-on-one conversations with me. I already know who I'm putting up on the block. I don't want to hear anybody campaigning. Like, basically leave me alone for a week." And I'm like, freaking finally that like someone is being like, this is my room. Get out. I earned it. Which is, I feel like people are getting way too lax.
Oh my god. I love that. I need to watch these episodes now.
It was so good. But then, when she put up her nomination, she put up these 2 girls, and she was like, how'd she say it? You're nominated because of the way that you've been treating the men in the house.
What?
The game that we were playing. And then, like, in the diary room, she elaborated a little bit more, and it made sense. But the way she worded it to them sounded very much like, wow, I don't need a mom in this house, but thanks. Like, that would have been my response. Like, wow, I don't need a mom, but the way, she called 2 guys out specifically. She was like 2 of the guys, I don't like how you're treating these 2 guys. And then in the diary room, she said, like, Caitlin and Haley have, you know, Tyler and all the men in the house wrapped around their little fingers, and that's a cheap way to play.
Yeah, it
Like,
is.
they should be playing.
Just-
I'm like, why didn't you say that? Friend said she was just like, I don't like the way you're. And so then everyone was like, wow, she's slut shaming. And I'm like, well, I mean, kind of, but also she makes a good point.
Yeah,
That's
I
always
agree
like
with
the
that.
most annoying thing.
I mean, their relationships with those guys, really none of her business, but it's the way she's decided to play the game. And she just doesn't appreciate how these two particular players are playing it. I think that's a smart move. I mean, yeah, whatever.
So
I'm going to watch the
everyone
first
was
episode.
like-
I'm just going to start from the beginning. I'll let you know when I need content to watch when I'm at work, so I might as well.
Yeah, you need to.
Just start
So
watching.
that's like the tea with Big Brother. It was quite the freaking episode last night. I was like, wow, we're hitting some hard issues this week.
Yeah, Jesus. Hey, do you want
Or
to,
she said, like, the way you're playing the game is the opposite of female empowerment. And that's what she said. There we go. I'm like, I know that she said something, like, pretty crazy.
Yeah. We can keep talking and reevaluating when I actually catch up and watch these, but definitely I'm going to catch up and watch, because we always watch them illegally anyway. I mean, no, we always watch them legally, FBI, who's listening to this podcast. Always legally. Anyway, yeah, I'll watch them and I'll catch up and I'll let you know how I feel. But
so good.
Here's a different jingle. Boom, boom, boom. I sent you a quiz just now.
Oh.
Literally, I was like, so we were talking about how theater people move to one of 3 cities, LA, Chicago, or New York. And so I thought we could do this quiz on BuzzFeed called Make an Ice Cream Sundae, and we'll tell you which major U.S. city you should live in.
Yes.
So I thought this would be a nice way to end the episode, because we talked about some heated arguments.
Oh, yeah.
That relate to our life. So the first question is, do you want your ice cream in a cup or a cone? And I am definitely a cone bitch.
Me too. I get cone.
Choose a flavor. Oh, do you want to read the flavors?
Sure. Mint, vanilla, strawberry, chocolate, coffee, or s'mores.
You know, I just realized that you're not a big ice cream eater.
But I would go ham on a s'mores ice cream.
That sounds really good, but I gotta stick with my mint.
It's so good.
Yeah, no, I love
had
s'mores.
s'mores.
S'mores Blizzard I fuck with, but there are no Dairy Queens up here that I've seen yet. I'm sure there's one around in Traverse City, but I fuck with mint all the time. Ooh, a bonus poll. I'm just kidding. Yeah.
A bonus poll.
A secondary flavor. No. Well, I have to, if I chose mint, I'm doing chocolate chip.
Yeah, and I guess I have to do toasted marshmallow.
Choose a sauce. Ooh. Chocolate, whipped cream, caramel sauce, Nutella, marshmallow sauce, hot fudge sauce. Ooh, I think I'm gonna do hot fudge.
Yeah, me too. Okay, choose a topping. M&M's, rainbow sprinkles, chocolate chips, marshmallows, gummy worms, or Reese's Pieces.
Anytime I go to a yogurt place, like a make your own froyo place, I always get either gummy worms or Reese's Pieces. It really depends on the flavor palette I'm going for.
But would that go with the ice cream that you've chosen so far?
Yeah, no, we are making a sundae. You're right. I think I'll just go sprinkles.
Yeah, me too.
I don't want more chocolate chips.
Choose a second topping.
A second top, guys. Well, I'll have to go York peppermint patty. I just want all the mint.
Oh yeah, I think I'm just gonna go with chocolate sprinkle.
Okay.
Ooh.
All right, what city did you get?
What did you get? Oh, I got Dallas.
I got Miami.
Ooh.
Do
I'll
they
have to tell Josh.
Do they like? Yeah.
We have to move to Dallas now. Because I made a Sunday and apparently I need to live in Dallas. I made a Sunday and now we have to move to Dallas.
That's the law. That's what the BuzzFeed quiz law.
I made a Sunday and now we have to move to Dallas. What? I did. I just made one.
Ooh.
Right here on my phone.
Ooh, the next one underneath, if you scroll down more, the next quiz is eat a meal and we'll give you a Greek island to visit. Is that the one that's underneath yours?
No.
Oh, really?
Oh wait, yeah, it is.
I kind of want to. I've been to the Greek
Oh,
islands.
I saw Mamma Mia.
Oh.
I saw an advanced screening.
Oh.
Yeah.
Fancy. Did you like it? I heard it got really mixed reviews.
Well, I just this past weekend watched the first Mamma Mia for the
Oh.
first time ever. So I was like, okay, this is kind of cute, I guess. And I had some mixed feelings on the second one.
Yeah, I need to see the second. I probably will watch it on DVD or it'll probably come on Netflix, to be honest. But the first Mamma Mia is just nice.
I feel like both of them have pretty serious flaws, and I tried not to let it take me out of the movie, and Jack said that I was watching them too critically. And I'm like, no,
we're theater
I'm trying to
people.
follow the story that's non-existent. So
yeah, I'll have to evaluate the movie once I see it. I also haven't seen Incredibles 2 yet. I need to watch that.
it's so cute.
Yeah, I heard it was really good. What other movies came out that I haven't seen yet? Oh, speaking of movies, the only San Diego Comic-Con news that I heard, I saw clips from the new Steven Universe episodes that are coming out, and they announced the Steven Universe movie. And that's the only thing I care about from San Diego Comic-Con was that they announced the movie.
Ew.
Yeah, so I'm real excited. So if there's any more San Diego Comic-Con news that I see, I'll bring it up next week. But I think it's finishing up.
Okay.
Or it just finished up. So I should find, like, here's everything you need to know about what happened. Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyway, my friend, I think that was a pretty good conclusive? Yep, conclusive.
Oh
that was I took a 2-hour nap today. I think that was a pretty good conclusion to talking and catching up. Sorry we missed a week. Next time that happens, just text me. Be like, we're recording now.
Oh, I was busy too, so I was like,
Yeah, it's not unlike us to skip a week. But the next time we record, I think I'll be home. Because I'm home I'm like home on the 7th.
Oh.
Yeah. I can't believe my time is almost up.
I will be on vacation then.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
So maybe we can... Wait, where are you going on vacation? Are you going camping?
I'm going up north, yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh man, I wanted to go with you.
You need to come because reasons that I'll tell you as soon as we sign off.
Okay, that's fair. All right, we'll talk to you guys all next time. Bye.
Bye.